Hey, I'm back. It's your girl A Dub back here on Sex in Our 60s. It's been a little while and just having work. I work full time, so got work, got things to do, but wanted to kind of make this kind of a wrap up episode of the dating portion. I know it's been a lot of fun and a lot of craziness, and today is not going to be any different. I'm calling this episode Freaks, Creeps, and Brief Encounters. um, so it's just this whole scene has just been very eye opening. And, I've heard from my friends and people out there that I'm making them nervous, but I'm really not. All of this, I really do. I feel great. I still love men. I still like the company of a guy, and I'm willing to give it a shot. So that's kind of how I want you all to look at this and say, have a little bit of fun, have a little adventure. Yeah, there's some tripped out people, and I don't know that you'll find your person out here, but what it does do, it gives you the confidence to say, you know what, I can do this. I can do this. So, we're going to talk about a few people that really stuck out. And I won't necessarily go in order or what have you, but that's what we're talking about today. So I'm going to call it kind of like a speed dating. That's really what it's like. I wish there was an actual speed dating opportunity, and something I'll have to look into. Maybe I'll create my own. Maybe I'll set them up and have you guys come, you single ladies, and come, and we'll mess around with dudes and see what they can do. But some of the things that have kind of come out of all of this is when we talk about the freaks. There have been some doozies, some doozies. One of the guys, and we're going on almost a year since this part of this program started. So, um, one of the guys, and we'll call him DB. We won't give it. We won't. I'll pause on putting out their names, but it's kind of hard not to. So, um, but this guy, super, super smart, fly, 6'3", good looking. I mean, just all the things. And he was so intelligent. And so, again, we aligned. He was a little bit younger than me. I think he was around 58 or so. And just a really, really cool dude. Um, and he wanted to meet me. And he lived here. He was local in Columbus. So we agreed to meet. And he was cool, but he wasn't like, it was like he was scanning the room. He had been in the service. This was, of course, all of the things that these men tell me, I have to take them with a grain of salt. I'm not really sure if that's true or not. What do I know? But he said he was like an army ranger, this, that, and the other. So he kept scanning the room and just being kind of odd about it. But we had a drink. He didn't have a drink. But he bought me a drink, and it was like his little local pub that he hangs out in. Didn't know anybody there, so I don't know what the big deal was. But anyway, we hung out, and I ended up back at his place. He didn't live far away. So again, probably not the safest thing to do, but it was fine. He was a bachelor. It was a bachelor pad. Let's be one thing about these cats, they don't bounce back from their situations very well. And, I don't know what his financial situation was in terms of, does he have children? Does he still sponsor them? What have you? He was from California. So, yeah, he just. So I just had a call come through. Anyway, so he's from California, and Northern California, one of my favorite parts of the country, one of my favorite places in California, but definitely just one of my favorite spots in the country. And so yeah, again, we hung out, we talked, what have you. We ended up back at his place. He was showing me around. He was a voice actor. That was the other piece. I forgot. He had a great voice, crazy. And I'm a voice girl. I am a voice girl, and this dude's voice was woo crazy good, very nice. Um, so that, that was a big attraction too. And he's a brother. All these cats I'm talking about now are all black men. So so we went to his place, chatted it up, had a little, good time, whatever. But, when the night ended, he walked me to the car. He was very sweet. We hugged, we kissed a little bit, and, he's holding my hand and stuff. So, I thought, okay, we're kind of vibing. This is kind of nice. So, the next day, and this was kind of a phase for me of not understanding, the dynamics of who calls whom. I'm a call. I don't care. I'll call you, or I'll check on you or I'll say hi or whatever. That's just, I'm not waiting. I'm too old. It's, time's short. I need to see if this is worth my time or not. So I reached out to him. I didn't hear from him. And I checked on him later in the day, and man, dude went banoodles on me. Was like, just in his text was like, I'm working. Don't you understand? I mean, just went cuckoo crazy. And I was like, all right, you know, pause, bro. It's all good. So I basically stopped talking to him. Well, then 2 days later, he's blowing my phone up, and I see you're on Facebook. I don't really remember him giving him access to my Facebook, because I don't think that's even where I met him. But anyway, he's like, I know you're on Facebook, and just like nutty. And as it turns out, he really is. He's actually a crazy person. We did not talk much after that. I think I might have had one other conversation with him, and it just started being very um, nonsensical, non-coherent. And then our last conversation, he called me, and I was, coming home from work, or I don't know what I was doing. But anyway, he was rambling, and I mean, completely incoherent. I had no idea what this guy was talking about. And it was really kind of sad and a little scary. I was so glad that he didn't know where I lived or anything like that, because dude had flipped his wig, and he just couldn't hold it together any longer. I mean, he very much needed some help. He really did. Nothing he was. I mean, he completely incoherent sentences. And I told him, I said, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. I said, but what I'm going to do is let you go. And then I blocked him. So I haven't talked to him since, because I'm like, what's happening here? This is not right. So that was DC from Cali, and cute but cuckoo. Another gentleman that I linked up with, I think it was on Bumble, I believe. Another little bit younger dude. Most of these guys, I guess, were a little bit younger. Um, Really cute and very, he was a laborer of some sort, but he loved himself. And he loved his jewelry, and he loved his shoes. He was a sneaker guy. But again, we had a more decent conversation, talking sports, talking, nothing out of the ordinary. And we ended up, we were making a plan to go to brunch on that, towards the end of the week, whatever that day was. And we ended up talking. I was out, I'm drinking. I kind of got a little loosey goosey. He got me a call. He said he was out. He said, I'll meet you somewhere. So we did that. And we went to one of the little spots that I like to go to at Easton. And he first of all he wanted to do was talk about himself. And he kept showing me, I mean, he had pictures, just scanning of sneakers. And then his closet full of watches. And then just all this, his hats. He had, so he was geared up always. He had a nice car. I believe it was a Mercedes Benz. So, he's working, he's by himself. He said, I believe his wife had passed away. So that was that. But just yeah, so we get to this bar, and I order one drink, because I had already had maybe one, maybe two drinks previously. He orders, as his order, two something, Tito's and something, and a beer. So that's three drinks. Okay. And he crushes them within a few minutes. And he's not even looking in my direction now. He's just talking, and just talking to hear his voice. So, I'm like, okay, again, here we go. Well, he said, "You want another drink?" I said, "No, you know what? I'm good." But he went and ordered him another round of these three drinks. I was like, "Whoa!" So that's six drinks, and we haven't even been here an hour. Um, okay, and my dumbass, I was riding with this dude, and so and I, I'm like, how am I going to get home? Da, 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 whatever. So we went and did some other stuff, played some pool. He played pool. I don't really play pool. I was just watching. I ended up not getting home till like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. My friends were like, "You're just getting home," So they were not happy about that. But it was, again, just I'm just out for funsies. Nothing happened. I don't think, and he was again trying to talk yang about how he wanted to get married and I was the one and blah 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 whatever. No. So that was on a Friday. So the next day was Saturday, and I reached out to him. I hadn't heard from him all day, and I just said, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "I'm good." He was just very not happy to hear from me kind of thing. And I said, what's going on here? He said, "I have things to do." I said, "Okay, I don't think I'm stopping you from doing any of those things." Anyway, long story short, we still had our date at the spot for brunch. And he had totally lost interest. He was not happy to see me. He was just very short and very curt and not and I believe he thought I was going to pay for my brunch. I'm like, no, I am absolutely not. He said, I mean, he even said, "You can leave the tip." I said, "No, I can't. No, I'm not. Sorry." So he wasn't happy with that. We parted ways, and again, not heard from him since. Um, his name, gosh, is it? I don't know. He's K something, Kevin Keith. I don't know. Don't know. I don't really remember. Um, so that was a little, So we're just building up here. So, I another gentleman, this was an older gentleman. This was the first guy who I dated who was over 65. I believe he was 67. And he was a truck driver, which there's a lot of truck drivers out in this universe. It's a second career. He had a kind of a decent career with the state or the city. I think he was in Cleveland. He was from Cleveland, so we're going to call him Cleveland. And it was back and forth with him. Sometimes he wanted to talk to me, then he wouldn't. And he wanted to meet me. I mean, that's what it boils down to. Which again, that happens a lot. I'm a great hang. I don't know why this is. I mean, I like to have a good time. I will talk to you. I will, engage with your sports. I will talk to your friends. I mean, whatever. I'm cool. I'm fine. Um, but he turned out to be quite the misogynistic asshole, and another drinker. He claimed he didn't drink. He claimed he didn't smoke, but he did all of those things while we were together. We had even made a plan to actually have a picnic or have a sleepover. He had gotten a hotel and all this other kind of stuff. Well, he got so drunk and so pissy and evil that was not going to happen. I was like, nope, nope, no, not going to do it. And I mean, he was another three drink around person. I was like, what is going on with you? You know? Uh, but we parted ways. I just, nope, nope. He's old, he's mean, he's crabby, he's drunk, he's all the things. It's like he checks no boxes. He was smart, he was funny, he was very business oriented. I mean, another thing that these gentlemen tend to want to do with me is tell me how to live my life, make all these suggestions and what have you. I'm not asking for any of that. I don't even ask you to do anything for me. I'm not that girl. I will handle my business. So that was Mr. Cleveland. And then, in between all of this, I'll call these my encounters, my brief encounters. I so many people, so many gentlemen who've never done anything. Like one dude was a chef and he worked himself to the ground and he's never even seen the ocean. He never took a trip outside of Columbus. He has children who lives outside of Columbus and nothing. Another gentleman who, I say gentleman, I keep saying that. I'm cracking myself up. Anyway, cracking myself up. But so let's see, who do we have here? Oh yes, the 60-year-old guy who had a 2-year-old child. As he answers the phone, I said, "Hey, oh, I hear you're on. Oh, you got grandparent duty. I'm gonna let you go." He said, "Oh no, this is my 2-year-old child." I said, "Oh, okay." And he said, "That's not a deal breaker, is it?" I said, "Okay, yeah, it is. Of course it is. What? Are you crazy?" But, the mother had died or whatever. I did not get into any of that because that conversation ended quickly with the quick. Another guy, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Let me stop. So I, another guy, and he was really nice looking, and he was only 60, and he kept saying his name was Mark, I believe his name was Mark, another Mark. And he says, I think he was a truck driver. And he kept saying, "I'm just a lonely old man. I'm just a lonely old man." And I don't, he sounded like Eeyore. He was just like, "Wowsy, wowsy, woo woo." And I'm like, "Dude, come on, why are you out here? Why are you out here? What is your deal? Cut it out. This is crazy. You all, lazy and what do you want me to do? Be your cruise director?" No, I'm not doing that. I need somebody who has some life, some energy, who wants to do some things, whatever that is, hang out, go to a concert, go to we could go to the park, anything. But I'm just a lonely old man. That is not a good selling point. And I told him that. I said, "You might want to hold that down a little bit." Um, I had another guy who he was in Cincinnati and don't remember his name exactly, but we had a really good conversation. I have long conversations with these cats. I would have 2, 3, 4 hour. I would talk them to the night about lots of stuff, but usually they just want to talk. They want to hear themselves talk, and I'm the person that they word vomit all over. So, but anyway, he kind of started pulling away and, I was like, again, you want to meet me, you're going to have to come see me. Well, it turns out he finally makes this big confession. He's like, "I got something to tell you." And I'm like, oh, what is it? What is it? Well, he had a kidney transplant. And he said, "I really can't do any of the things that you want to do." I was like, "Oh, again, okay. But why are you out here?" What do you think? What do you think women want to do? I mean, it's, of course, I appreciate, I understand his circumstances. I appreciate him letting me know all of that. But why? Why are we here? We're here to date. We're here to meet new people. We're here to do some things. I thought that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to do. So I've had some reconnections with some people. Like a guy that he and I both had this long distance crush on each other during high school, and he lived here. He was local, and he was a good looking dude. Talk great voice. Love, love, love. I would still love to talk to him, um, but again, problematic. He had some issues with an ex. He was, I think, I don't mean to be, judgmental, but he didn't really like sisters, and that's what I told him. I said, "You really don't want to be with a sister, I can tell." And he had been married. He had been married to a black woman, but I guess, as a lot of these brothers tell me, they got screwed over by them and what have you. And so he was gun shy, and then he was married to another one, a white woman, and he's mixed, and his mom's mixed. So there's a lot of confusion in that realm. But more importantly, he wasn't feeling me. And I'm telling you, we had a long, I mean, we would always dig each other all through high school. Never got together, never barely talked to each other. He was kind of a quiet dude. Um, and he went in the service. He was very smart. Again, he had retired. I mean, he was rolling, but he didn't want to do anything. And he definitely didn't want to do anything with me. I think he was a drinker as well. Which I guess that's a theme, right? Drinking. I don't drink a lot. I like to drink occasionally, and but I don't. Those drinking days and partying days, that's over for me. It doesn't serve me. I don't really get. Occasionally. I mean, I still get smashed, but no, I'm good. So yeah, so that's and the great part really has been that I've met some really, really great guys, and I've have some friendships. I really have, and which is great because I really do. I like my guy friends, and I've always had guy friends, probably more guy friends than girlfriends, or at least the same amount. So that's been a really, really good part of all of this. They're usually on the road; they're not necessarily available, which is fine. They've turned out to be really good friends, and we check on each other. They check on me, and so it's a really, I feel very comfortable and glad to have met them, and that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been out here. So another fun person that I met out in this world was a gentleman who was moving. He was moving here allegedly from Atlanta, and I can't remember his name exactly. I think it was Keith or Kevin. It was a K name. I'm not sure what name it was. But he was focused on sex and sex only. So he was definitely going sex in our 60s. He was all in and asking me just very pointed questions. He was relatively recently divorced, but he was asking, had I ever been in a threesome? What's my favorite this? What's my favorite that? And just all kinds of like, interesting. Okay, okay. Well, so we talked for a long time, and I'm kind of an open book, but I was like, yeah, most of the things that he was talking about, no, n'est pas moi, not me. I'm not a threesome girl. I don't like to share. I don't get into any of these, I like toys. I love toys. No, I'm not going to lie about that. I do, but I like them with my man. So that's kind of different for me. A lot of women, they use them, as a replacement. No, that's an enhancement. I call it, it's kind of like a little appetizer, a little dessert or something like that. So anyway, we had this great conversation. It was a little dicey, but okay, I'm gonna see where this goes. And, and then I didn't hear from him. So, I reached out and I was like, oh, what's going on? Well, so a couple days later, he comes back and he says, I was out. I didn't have my phone. I said, oh, well, that's interesting, but okay. And then he says, but I was actually really embarrassed. I wanted to tell you something, but I'm a little too embarrassed to talk to you about it. And I was like, oh, okay. So in the meantime, in all of this conversation, he ends up sending me a dick pic. So it was my first dick pic. And I was so excited because I've never had one. And, I think I've mentioned this, I'm a sexual girl. I feel it, and it was nice. It was a nice picture. So that part, I think he got a little, felt a little bit more comfortable because I didn't just say, get the hell out of here. I guess it's common for women to get dick pics. Not me. I don't, and I can't imagine why he would just randomly send dick pics, but he did. So he comes back at me with this whole conversation about how he was embarrassed to say something and this, that, and the other. And I said, well, go ahead. Let me hear what you're talking about. He says, well, I'm not gay, but I was like, ooh, I'm not gay, but wow. Okay. That conversation, that usually means, what, that he is. Anyways, he said, oh, I'm not gay, but, I like to be pegged. And, and I I guess I'm relatively naive because I had no idea what that was, but I Googled it quickly and I was like, okay, okay. And apparently that's where a man wants his woman to strap on a dildo and strip him in the ass. I was shocked. I was flabbergasted. I was like, oh, wow. Again, didn't really know this was a thing. Not for somebody who just readily telling it. I'm sure, people do what they do behind closed doors, but for him to tell me that, I guess he was, trying to see if I was going to be down with that. And I said, I appreciate you letting me know, but, yeah, not a fit. Literally, figuratively, no. And I gave him this advice. I said, here's the thing that you don't know about me or anyone else for that matter. You might want to wait and put that out there once you know what the play is. You don't know. I don't know. You don't know if your woman would do that for you, but I ain't your woman. I don't even know you like that. I haven't even seen you in the flesh, right? So, so I was excited. It was fun because I got a dick pic out of it. But as far as anything else, and I learned what pegging was. So that's a running joke and a lot of things that me and my friends talk about. But pegging? Wow. Wow. I'm not gay, but I don't know, dog, but okay, whatever. So all this to say, ladies, and I'm going to be kind of wrapping up. I'm still dating. I'm still out there. I'm still creating content. I still getting content, but I've gone through the high spots, some of the low spots, of course, and I'm going to kind of wind this down a little bit, but I'm still oddly optimistic. I don't do them as often. It's kind of like spinning the roulette wheel for me. Sometimes I just get bored and I'll go through and I'll get a roster. I'll get like 5, 10 guys that I'm talking to, but that's exhausting. I can't keep it up. I don't remember who I gave my number to. I don't remember, what I said or what it's too much. So I dive in, I dive out. If I don't, and there's a lot of spooky girls. Um, I'm just thinking back, wow, there's some really, really scary characters out here. But all that being said, this is Sex in Our 60s, and we're doing the damn thing. I am hopefully, I'm a hopeful romantic, and I'm, cautiously optimistic that maybe I will meet somebody out there. I'm not, I'm not going to say that it's definitely going to happen, but what it is, and some of my friends will say, well, you get a nice meal out of it. I do. You get some good conversation out of it. I do. But I get ghosted a lot, and that hurts my feelings. So any dudes that are listening, why don't ghost a lady? Just let her know that it's not a fit. Because I'll tell you when it's not a fit. I will tell you in a hot minute. I'm not mean about it, but I just think it's rude. That's lack of home training, in my opinion. I think men are scared, of the quote unquote wrath that they might get. And they might, I don't know. That's just not me. But nonetheless, this has been a romp, and there's more to come. But this is kind of a little bit, I'm going to kind of step back from the dating scene and talk about some other things. But this is, again, super, super cool to do this, to talk to you. I'm getting some likes. I'm getting some, great feedback, and I appreciate everything. I hope you guys will share this if it resonates with you. Join me. I'm on YouTube, so like me and subscribe and keep it moving, because I'm going to be out here and doing the damn thing. And I'm on Spotify, so you can see me in all the the places. And it's Sex in Our 60s. It's at Sex in Our 60s. So I got my my Instagram out there, working on that. And so just keep checking me out. I'm going to keep doing this. I really, I kind of went low glam today. um, so, but I'm high energy, and I'm hyped to do this, and I'm just looking forward to the next phase. So just want to keep you guys, laughing, joking, and, enjoying and learning. And that's what we're going to do. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And, I look forward to talking to you real soon. Sex in Our 60s. Peace.